Here's how I'm going to start my Smackdown review this week, okay? We're going to take things a little bit differently. We're going to do things a little bit differently. There was some of the stuff on this show that I really liked. There were some things on this show that I really liked. I liked the segment involving Trick Williams and Sami Zayn. I liked it. I thought it was very good. I hate the booking of Sami Zayn. I hate the booking of the United States Championship. But I thought that segment tonight was very good. And I thought the involvement of how they used Lil Yachty was good. I'm cool with that. Danhausen's debut match was fun. It was fun. Danhausen having a pump kick for his finisher works because of his character. The story involving Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre and the angle that they did tonight with Drew McIntyre handcuffing Jacob Fatu over the ring post. Cool with it. I'm cool with it. That entire first hour of SmackDown tonight was dog shit. And then the Pat McAfee, Cody Rhodes segment was the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm literally astounded. I am dumbfounded by how terrible and how trash this build for WrestleMania has been involving this match. I don't want to say tonight was worse than last week, but holy shit, ladies and gentlemen. This is WWE 2019 level bad television. I'm not joking. This is up there with the Rusev, Bobby Lashley, and Lana stuff. This is up there with, the Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin dog food. This is up there with Kofi Kingston losing the WWE Championship in 20 seconds to Brock Lesnar. This is up there with 2019 Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt. I could go on and on and on and on. But the more I watch, and the more I see on social media throughout the week, this is one of the worst storylines WWE has ever done. And it was announced on Wednesday that Pat McAfee had a lot to get off his chest on SmackDown. And then he announced yesterday on his show that he had a quote-unquote massive announcement. We will get to that massive announcement. And everything involving this is 2019 level bad. This legitimately could be worse than Vince McMahon television. I cannot believe I'm saying that. But during WrestleMania of all seasons, in the main event of the first night, I cannot believe what I'm watching. I literally cannot believe what I'm watching. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. And WWE is never going to learn. And they're taking the same path. They will never learn because literally they are copying and pasting the same path from last year on to this year. Big heel turn by Randy Orton. Last year it was a big heel turn by John Cena. Last year we got celebrity involvement by Travis Scott. And this year we have celebrity involvement from Pat McAfee. TKO ruined the main event of WrestleMania last year. TKO is ruining the main event of WrestleMania this year. We're going to get a tag team match after WrestleMania this year. Last year, if you guys remember, we got a tag team match at Money in the Bank with Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes versus John Cena at Logan Paul that they fucking threw to the wall 2 weeks before it happened. They had about a week and a half to build that one. And then Cody Rhodes getting his rematch at SummerSlam. That was outstanding. I won't say anything bad about that. But WWE, they don't learn. They don't learn. And they don't care about the mistakes they make. But I'm going to give it time until we get to that Pat McAfee segment. And everything I have in my head, I'm going to get it all out. You best believe I will get it all out once we get to that segment. This is your Friday Night Smackdown review. April 10th, 2026. I am Joseph Conlon. We are 8 days away until one of the biggest shows of the entire year, Wrestlemania from Las Vegas. And, you know, I'm a mark, okay? The marks that Pat McAfee are talking about, I mean, I'm one of them. Because I will admit, I am a mark for wrestling. I love wrestling. And we will be marking it out here next week. All week for WrestleMania. So, we've got a lot of content coming up this weekend. We've got content coming up next week for WrestleMania. And it's a good time to be it's a good time. I don't want to say it's a good time to be a wrestling fan because literally WWE is ruining the Saturday main event of WrestleMania. But if you're a content creator like myself and all these shows are coming up, it is a good time to be a wrestling fan. Because we've got plethora of wrestling shows coming up this month, coming up in May, and as we move into the summer. So, let's go ahead and get into this SmackDown review. I don't want to waste any much more time. We start the show with Cody Rhodes in the parking lot. And Nick Aldis approaches him. And Cody says, "Where is Pat McAfee?" And Aldis says, "Look, I know you're heated from last week, but I gotta tell you tonight, you cannot have your hands on Pat McAfee. You cannot touch Pat McAfee." And this is from various orders. And Cody's like, "Who the hell are you taking orders from?" And he says, "Cody, it's out of my power. It's coming from above." And then Jelly Roll. Our good friend Jelly Roll. He wasn't on the show last week, but boy, he was there this week. And Nick Aldis said the same thing to him. And Jelly then cut a promo to Cody Rhodes. He said, "Look, man, at WrestleMania, it's not about Pat McAfee, it's not about Jelly Roll, and it's not about Nick. It is about Randy Orton. It is about Cody Rhodes and the WWE Championship. 20 years of betrayal. 20 years of friendship. You've got a story to tell. It's not just about yourself, my friend. It is about 20 years of betrayal, legacy, and a story that has to be finished between you and Randy at WrestleMania. This is not a story involving me, Pat, or Nick Aldis. I'll be here if you need anything. That was Jelly Roll's promo to Randy Orton. Oh, we were not done. We were not done. Jelly Roll had 2 more segments on this show tonight. Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll had an equal 3 segments each on the entire show. But in the arena, in the SAP Center in San Jose, Rhea Ripley and Io kicked off the show. And this was basically setting up for the main event, which was Io Sky versus Jade Cargill in a non-title match. So then we got to our first match. We got to Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. And they were in the hometown of Bayley. San Jose is the home of Bayley. And she's wrestling Alexa Bliss tonight. And what do you think happened? Do you think Bayley got the hometown win on Smackdown tonight? You think Bayley got the good feel moment? No. It was the opposite. WWE booked a shitty finish. Lyra and Charlotte on the outside. Charlotte took her jacket off. She threw it right at Bayley. Bayley threw it back. Alexa rolled her up, and Alexa won. Hopefully this just means that, Bayley and Lyra will hopefully win those titles at WrestleMania. But I don't care about that match, really. They've done such a bad job. Terrible matches. I don't know. I don't really have a care for that match. What do we got next? Royce Keys makes his debut. Finally, he debuted at the Royal Rumble. They didn't use him for fucking 2.5 months. He was relegated to main event for 2 months. And tonight, he came on Smackdown and got a golf clap for a reaction. What the hell would you expect? You debuted a guy at the Royal Rumble 2.5 months ago, by the way. And now, finally, tonight, he's getting his first TV match. And he came out to freaking golf claps. What did you expect was going to happen? What they got is what they deserve. Royce Keys beat Berto in about, I would say, 4 minutes. And he was cutting a promo backstage, saying he wouldn't want to do it in front of any other people in California, but he doesn't want to be known for where he was grown up from. And then he was interrupted by Solo Sikoa. I'm like, oh man. Oh boy. His first feud is going to be with Solo. They are sticking him with the MFTs. Yikes. That's not great. Who's going to be excited about a new MFTs feud? It's going to be Royce Keys having matches with the MFT guys for about 3 months. Next week, it seems like they're finally ending that feud with the Wyatts. It's going to be the Wyatts versus the MFTs in a street fight on WrestleMania Smackdown next Friday from Las Vegas. So, that was just hour one. Boy, we were just getting started. Now it was time. It was time for Pat McAfee. It was time for Pat McAfee, who came walking in, told Nick Aldis to go park the car for him, and then he was interrupted by somebody. Oh, he was interrupted by Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll came out. Jelly Roll came from behind. And he's like, "Did you tell Randy Orton to RKO me?" And Pat is basically telling him, "You have no business being here. Get the hell out of my way." Jelly put his hands on him, and Nick Aldis had to break it up. And there was we could have figured this out last week when it happened, but there was a report that came out today by Wrestling Observer that Ari Emanuel wanted Pat McAfee in Randy Orton's corner and Jelly Roll in Cody's corner. And a part of that agreement is a tag team match at Backlash on May 9th with Cody Rhodes teaming up with Jelly Roll to face Randy Orton and Pat McAfee. To main event Backlash, by the way. That's probably going to be the main event of the first pay-per-view after WrestleMania. Let that sink in. That's probably going to be the main event over whatever, if CM Punk's the world champion, whatever world title match they got set up for CM Punk after this. If he's not the world champion, Lord only knows how bad that show is going to look. So Pat came out to a ton of boos, stood on the top rope, and gave the middle finger to San Jose. Flipped the bird. He said it's not nice to be in a shithole like San Jose. But I've got some things to get off my chest. So Pat starts with something he's not even involved in. CM Punk. And he addresses the CM Punk promo on Friday night where Punk called him Pat Mcafee. He told him to tell his agent to lower the damn ticket prices so that families can come to Las Vegas and watch CM Punk stand on Roman Reigns' throat at WrestleMania. Told Pat McAfee, "You don't belong in the business." So Pat said, "You cheer for these spineless bums like CM Punk. Did you like what he had to say on Monday night when he called me Pat McAfee? When that TKO merch check comes through, which account does it go to? Does it go to the needy wrestling families who can't afford WrestleMania tickets?" Wow, we're really making fun of families here. That is really... I have no words for that one. Or does it go right into the bank account titled, "I'm sorry, Saudi Arabia"? What the fuck? This is literally 8 days before WrestleMania. And he's out there talking about WWE Shop, CM Punk merchandise, and oh, where does it go to when they buy the merch? It's absolutely ridiculous. Let me see if I got the whole thing. So then, Pat McAfee goes to make his announcement, and he calls everybody in San Jose a bunch of douchebag marks. But he said, but I'm going to be the hero. And I'm going to help you guys out real quick. This week, I gave a call to the official sponsor of Wrestlemania, Ram Trucks. And I asked them, hey, for our biggest show of the year, would you like to help wrestling fans around the world? They said yes. Can you take 25% of the tickets for Saturday night's WrestleMania? And they said absolutely. So the big announcement that Pat McAfee had, that he said yesterday, was WrestleMania Saturday only, okay? Not Sunday, Saturday only, was going to be 25% off. So they have now done 20% off WrestleMania tickets. They have done 40% off WrestleMania tickets. They have done 30% off WrestleMania tickets. And they have done a no-fee Friday. So they have tried 4 different times. They have tried 4 different times to get people to buy tickets to WrestleMania. They don't have 40,000 people in the building as of right now for Saturday. Now, they probably will. I would imagine they would have at least 45,000 at least for Saturday. Sunday, they'll probably be a little bit over 45,000. But still, they had over 60,000 people for each night last year. It's a huge, huge drop-off. And about the promo on Monday night from CM Punk, don't be a blithering idiot like the idiots on Twitter and believe, because CM Punk mentioned ticket prices lowering, since CM Punk mentioned lower the ticket prices, WWE is going to lower the tickets because of one show, or one promo. That's not true. They have seen the amount of headlines, I guess you could call them, that it's made for how expensive WWE tickets are going to be. Yeah, tickets are gonna drop off probably a little bit after WrestleMania, is what would be my guess. That's the smart thing to do. Like, do I plan on going to WWE shows this year? Yes, absolutely. But it seems like that's the direction WWE is going in. So don't make them believe you that because CM Punk mentioning lower ticket prices, that they're going to lower ticket prices. They had this fucking planned all along. They're not going to do it for WrestleMania, but they're going to do it for the summer months. They're going to lower them for June. They're going to lower them for July. They're going to lower them for August. So, where am I? McAfee says you can get 25% off Saturday tickets to watch one of the greatest nights in sports entertainment history, when Randy Orton and himself save the fucking business. That's literally what he said. And then, oh my God, it gets worse, ladies and gentlemen. It gets worse. After he makes his announcement for 25% off, he then says, WrestleMania Sunday, ass. I wouldn't recommend anybody spending money on that. Let me say that again. WrestleMania Sunday night, ass. I wouldn't recommend anybody spend money on that. So, in a span of a week, WWE has ruined the WWE Championship match by inserting Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll into crucial roles for this match. Okay? They have constantly embarrassed themselves, made themselves look pathetic on television by telling the audience that their fucking product sucks. You're telling the audience via Pat McAfee, Sunday Night WrestleMania ass. I wouldn't recommend spending any money on that. That is not only burying Roman Reigns and CM Punk, that is burying anybody that is wrestling Sunday night on that show. You are burying Sami Zayn. You are burying Trick Williams. You are burying Brock Lesnar. You are burying Obafemi. You are burying Rhea Ripley. You are burying Jade Cargill. Everybody that is wrestling on that Sunday show, you made look horrendous. You made your roster look horrible. You made your product look horrible. You made fucking WrestleMania look horrible. Calling Cody Rhodes a nepo baby of a champion. And they're practically on TV. Oh my gosh. How many times did they have Joe Tessitore say 25% off now through Monday for Saturday tickets? 4 maybe? In the span of an hour and a half? They are so needy. They are so desperate. They are such disgraceful that we are 8 days away from their biggest show of the year. And they are practically begging fans to buy tickets to this show. Does that sound right to you? Does that sound right to you, ladies and gentlemen? So then McAfee says some other shit. And out comes Cody. And Cody says, I don't mean to misjudge, but I don't think you belong here, Pat. He says, why don't we get you a Fanatics replica title? They look just like the real thing. We'll go back. You can go there. You can pick any WWE superstar you want. You could do their entrance. We'll give you pyro. You can live out your superstar experience. And then you go back to whoever sent you here, whoever injected you here, and you could tell them, thank you, Daddy. Reference to TKO President Ari Emanuel. Cody then tells Pat a story about a promoter named I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. But he says when Pat talks about Marks, something Bosch. I don't remember his name. But he said he would call those Marks customers. And those customers, they do everything in their power to save money to come see us. To come see us live. And no matter if it's people who are standing at the airport with 70 action figures, this little cool kid sitting in the front row this group of people right over here, a father and son right there, they're not customers to me anymore, Pat. They are family. And Cody Rhodes says, for the first time ever, the entire fandom of what we do agrees on the fact that at WrestleMania, they want to see Randy Orton. They do not want to see Pat McAfee. So then, Pat picks up the mic, and he says some more stuff. He says, I speak for myself right here. And he tells the douchebags to shut up. He says if Randy Orton does not win his 15th World Championship at WrestleMania... Oh, no, it's not that. Cody Rhodes tells him to go home. And Pat says, I am home, dipshit. I was born for this business. Homemade. You were groomed in this business. Coddled up. You're the golden boy of the boys in Gorilla. You're the golden boy for the boys in Gorilla. And he says, right now, he tells Pat to go home. And Pat then says, where you going, Cody? Where you going? You've always been an elite runaway artist. And he says Stardust. He calls him Stardust. He says, and this is, like, there's fucking kids there, man. He says, where are you going, Cody? Are you going to suck Triple H's ass? Are you going to touch Paul Levesque's ass anymore? Politic, groom him, politic your way to more opportunities? Make sure you spread them out wide, Cody. And then Cody takes his suit jacket off. He's getting all fucking huffy and puffy. He's hulking up. And then Randy Orton pops up on the Titantron. And Randy Orton says, you might want to come check on your buddy. And he has Jelly Roll all taped up, all bandaged up. And he says, you know what? I'm going to bring him out to you. And he drags out Jelly Roll. And this fucking idiot Cody. You know how I talked about Wednesday with the Kenny Omega MJF segment where they purposely booked Kenny Omega to look like a smart babyface against MJF? Tonight, WWE purposefully booked Cody to look like a dumbass heel against Randy Orton and Pat McAfee. So first of all, why the fuck does he care about Randy Orton attacking Jelly Roll? What does Cody have to do with Jelly Roll? Why is Cody and Jelly friends? Why are they friends all of a sudden? So, Cody just stands there. And he looks back at Pat. And he looks back at Randy. And he looks back at Pat. And he goes to charge for Pat. But then Randy attacks him. And they beat him up more. And they beat him. And they beat him. And they beat him. And then ultimately, they stand tall. Randy Orton stands over Cody. And then Pat goes to grab the WWE Championship. And you would think that at the end of the segment, Pat is going to hand over the WWE Championship for Randy Orton to raise. Raise that championship. Tell him you're going to take it. Nope. Fucking Pat raises the championship. Pat McAfee is holding the WWE Championship away from Randy Orton. They walk away, and Pat McAfee is holding the WWE Championship. They come back from commercial. They're fucking backstage going to the truck to leave the building. And Pat McAfee is holding the WWE Championship. And they drive away. And who's holding the WWE Championship? Pat McAfee. So let me get this straight. Not only did you fucking bury the entire roster of wrestling on night 2 of WrestleMania, not only are you fucking begging your audience to buy tickets for WrestleMania on live TV, not only are you making your champion look like a fucking dumbass, not only is this the worst WrestleMania build of all time, you have a WWE Championship match in 8 nights between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, and you're fucking telling me Randy Orton is playing side piece to Pat McAfee? I could puke watching talking about this. I could puke talking about this shit. I don't know. I don't know. But Pat McAfee walked away tonight with the WWE Championship. Now, they've got to figure out a way, right? They cannot be this senile. They cannot be this fucking dumbfounded to have Pat McAfee walk into WrestleMania holding the WWE Championship. So one or two things are going to happen. Cody's going to get the title next Friday on Smackdown back, or Cody's going to go on Pat's show this week. He's going to uninterruptedly go on Pat McAfee's program this week, and he's going to beat him up and take that WWE Championship with him. But they're ultimately setting up WrestleMania. Pat's going to be in Randy's corner. Jelly Roll's going to be in Cody's corner. I can't fathom this. I can't fathom the terrible booking from Triple H. And I know Ari Emanuel's the man who wants this. But Triple H, at the end of the day, Triple H is the man who approves it. Triple H is the man who gives it the okay. Triple H is the man coming up with the main stories for this garbage. So yes, you have to put blame on Triple H's this as well, just as much as Ari Emanuel. It's just, I'm disgusted. I really am. It's gross. Jacob, we're going to run through the rest of this stuff, by the way. Jacob Fatu versus Tama Tonga. Fatu wins with a moonsault. He goes to cut a promo. Drew McIntyre comes out to beat the heck out of him. I thought it was good. Good brawl. McIntyre got the best of him this week. He busted him open a little bit. I like it. We need blood in that match. For sure. For sure we need blood in that match. Trick Williams versus Matt Cardona. Trick Williams wins in about 12 minutes. Little Yachty was there managing Trick. Little Yachty ate a haluva kick, and he sold it pretty well. So I didn't mind that stuff. Danhausen versus Kit Wilson. Danhausen was getting his ass kicked. Kit Wilson was on the top rope. Danhausen cursed him. Pyro went off on the ring the Danhausen ended up winning the match with a pump kick. Miz was going to attack him after the match. The lights went out, and Danhausen escaped the Miz. And the main event was Io Sky versus Jade Cargill. And Jade won. And Jade went for a chair to try to attack try to attack Io. And Rhea Ripley came in for the save. And that was SmackDown. Next week, they announced the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. They announced a street fight between the Wyatts and the MFTs. And wrestlers from SmackDown and Raw are going to be on the show next Friday. They will never learn. They will never change from their mistakes. And they have completely embarrassed themselves on the road to WrestleMania. And it's nobody but their faults. So, that is your SmackDown review. That is my rant with everything involving Pat McAfee, Cody Rhodes, Jelly Roll, Randy Orton, Pat McAfee. Did I say Pat McAfee already? Pat McAfee 2 times. I hate SmackDown. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, comment down below, hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter, Conlon_Joseph. And I will see you guys Sunday. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. And I'm out. Peace.